Episode number 227. Are these comics going to make good film and television shows? We have Absolute Wonder Woman number 6, and we have the debut issue of Solomon Kane number 1 by Titan. Let's talk about him right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I'm your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, I spent an entire day today doing a schedule. Ooh, that was fun. Breaking down and scheduling. I probably did work for the full 12 hours today. Pretty crazy. Remember to give me a like, give me a subscribe if you can. Share this video out there so we can tell everybody what's going on in comics right now and if it's going to hit your screen in the future. Also, remember, too, that I am a writer, so if you'd like to read anything that I've written, you can go to Amazon.com and just click my name there or type my name into the search bar, Frank Zanca, and you'll see a bunch of my stuff, including my sci-fi quadrilogy, Destiny Aurora, which has also been made into a board game. It's also made into an RPG and a comic series that has been collected into a graphic novel, 150-page graphic novel. I have my fantasy book called Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch. There's a bunch of things up there as well. We're also working on a new book right now called Battle for the Ruby Slippers, which, of course, has to do with Wizard of Oz and Peter Pan as well, which we just talked about yesterday about the Peter Pan comic. And then on top of that, we're working on a new comic book called Fairy Tales of Terror. So I'm going through my fairy tale stint right now. All right, but let's jump into Absolute Wonder Woman. And just in case you guys are going to WonderCon, my buddy is doing, I guess, a financing. I don't know if it's under film or comic or whatever else, but it's a financing panel discussion, and he's going to have my comics there, and he's going to have Lords of L.A. bookmarks and all this other stuff. So his name is Martinez. If you he's been in The Walking Dead and that kind of thing. He just was in the Rock movie with the Santa Claus one. So yeah, stuff like that. All right, so let's jump into Wonder Woman here. So I gotta say that the artwork change here was incredibly needed, but even surpassed what I kind of hoped it would look like. I am not a fan of Sherman, what's his name there? The previous one is Hayden Sherman. I am not a fan of his art at all. In fact, I think he degraded the comic with his art. So it was good to see somebody else kind of take hold here. The art now is being done, or this, I don't know if he's done after 2. I kind of hope not. But Mattia de Ulis, I don't know how to really say that. That's a lot of vowels there. So anyway, we start, and you can look at this art right off the bat, and it's one guy doing all of it. He's painting it. He's obviously doing pencils and then painting it. What I don't like is the design for Hades. I mean, what is that thing? That's Hades? Also, I don't feel like Kelly Thompson read her previous books to write this. So this is the story, if you don't know what's going on with Absolute Wonder Woman, this is the story where she did not grow up on Themyscira, Paradise Island. She instead ended up being gifted or exiled, I can't tell which, in hell to Circe. And Circe ended up bringing her up. She reared her from a child and taught her magic and things to that effect. And somehow she escaped hell to then help the humans or whatever else. She also cut off her own arm so that Steve Trevor, for some reason, he went to hell. And to get him out of hell, she had to give up her arm. So she has a magical arm right now. And that's why she has that tattoo there on her shoulder is because it's a spell. But anyway, so she's Hades tells her, because she was like gripped and brought down into hell or into Hades, and he tells her to disarm, which thankfully she doesn't take her own arm off, but she takes everything else off. And she's like, "Can I keep my boots on?" Okay, man, whatever. So she has all her shit laying all over the place, and suddenly now she has 3 lassos. So I don't know how that happened. She's had 1 this entire time, and now she has 3. So again, I have no idea what Kelly Thompson's even writing at this point. She needs to stay off the drugs because they're affecting her memory. Because we also already saw an origin story for the Red Lasso, and then she does it again. I don't understand it. We have this great artwork, and we're telling the same story over again. But anyway, this demon ends up trying to take the lasso, and he gets zapped. She's like, "Yeah, I'm the only one that can handle that." But the face is really good, I think. And you can see the tattoo on the shoulder now. That's the spell. And she goes to see. It's really nice page. So she has this big axe, and she goes to see Prometheus, who is tied up. And of course, he is the god that gave, according to mythology, gave humans fire. And when he did, he pissed off Zeus or whatever, to the point where Zeus locked him up on this mountain, and the vultures or whatever else eat at him every single day, and he regenerates. So he's basically not only chained up, but he's in torment every single day. So Diana lets him out because she needs a piece of his blood, I guess, to make the lasso. But again, she didn't even know about the lasso because it was a gift from Cersei, who had seen the future and saw that she needed it. That was the whole story of the previous thing. And now she's changing it. I'm very, very confused. But anyway, so she lets him out. He's out now, just kind of hanging out. And the vulture comes by, and she says to the vulture, don't eat my friend anymore, and tell your friends not to eat him either. And they're like, he's not going to bother you anymore. And here's some water. It replenishes itself since it's magic. But she needs a piece of his blood, like I said. And he says, fine, cut off a piece of my finger. So he does, and he bleeds into the thing. But again, I have no clue why this is even happening. So he says, I'm going to have another gift for you. And now, why is Prometheus able to resurrect Pegasus? That is not his deal. That is a Hades thing. But yet he does it. So the writing on this storyline, not the dialogue's okay, but the storyline itself is extremely poor. Extremely poor. And then she talks about how she beat the basilisk and how she had to blind herself because, I guess I don't know if it turns you to stone or whatever it does, but she ends up killing it without the use of her eyes. And again, the artwork is absolutely beautiful, but Kelly Thompson needs to stay off the drugs. But this is really good. By the end, I like this. He ends up, Hades is like, well, I know how to control you. How about this? And she brings Cersei in, and she's like, Mom? And she's not looking too good. And then we have 2 pages of just one, each story is one single page about her growing up. And that's it. So, aside from the artwork, this is a waste of time. Because it doesn't match anything we saw before. Prometheus doesn't have the ability of resurrection. So it doesn't make, none of it makes any sense until you get to the last page. And I don't like the design for Hades either. So it is what it is. I didn't hate it, but for that artwork, I really wish that she went like balls to the wall with it and got me a good story. So now we got Solomon Kane. Woo! So this is by Titan. This is going off the Robert E. Howard stuff. He's the one who created Conan. And there was a movie made about Solomon Kane that I actually liked. And, he's like a Puritan. I didn't ever, he was like in America. So I didn't ever see him traveling the seas in some of the stuff that I saw. But apparently he does. That's how it is in here. This is written by, I don't even know who this thing's written by. Patrick Zurcher. I don't know who that is. Because we even go, and he gives a map to where he's at. I had to find certain things because, the Barbary Coast and stuff like that, I kind of knew where it was, but, I'm not really that familiar with the pirating, where things were pirated back in the day. But it's neat because I know that did happen, and it's neat to know a little bit about history. So we start out with the stuff in Africa, where we have, this, I don't know if he's a pirate or whatever else, but he's hanging out with the natives. The native takes a thing for him, and like a spear. Thanks, buddy. But anyway, he ends up escaping, and one of them's like a creature or whatever. But then we jump forward, because that's kind of in the middle of nowhere. We refer to that later. But the beginning is confusing, that's for certain. So we got this really cool naval battle, and Solomon Kane is on the ship. The artwork is absolutely great in here. It's very, very cinematic. Writer, artist, and colorist, all the same guy. So the same thing with the Wonder Woman. Both of these are basically one guy, except that he didn't write. Maybe that artist would have written something better. So anyway, he ends up taking on the big guy, kills him. He shoots the guy. Well, he just misses, but he doesn't. Kane doesn't miss. He takes the guy off the top. So he's looking to parlay with the captain of the vessel. Except that the guy ends up pulling a gun on him, and he's forced to shoot him. So he says, "Yeah, this is not how it's supposed to go. I just wanted to talk to you." And he says, "Yeah, but I'm not the captain. I'm just a passenger." And he's like, "Oh, shit." He says, "But I'm dying, and you have to help me because this needs to get to this dude in Venice." And it's like a snake thing. So he has to, the guy dies, and he's like, "You have to promise me." And he's like, "All right, I promise." And he's like, man, so now. And he's a man of honor, so if he makes a promise, he has to keep it. So he has to go off and actually do this quest, which is not what he wanted to do. So I thought that was pretty cool. So the feet there on the girl in the middle panel, with they're horrible the way they're laid out, but the feet on the bottom are good. So I keep looking at that thing going, the legs don't work connected to that feet. But anyway, this guy works in the library or whatever else, and there's a curfew. You can't come out but a certain time. You have to leave at a certain time and be home. So there's gates now blocking, the bridges and things to that effect. And I would assume because it's Venice, there's a lot of them. But anyway, he says, I walk slowly, so I need to be to work on time. So I go early. And he's like, walk faster next time. Then we get this guy that's kind of a womanizer. He looks like one of the Warrior 3 from Thor. But anyway, this guy that ended up paying for that voyage, he is not told yet that the voyage was destroyed. But that guy's going to tell him. And he's like, "Oh my God." He's like, "But you said money was no object." And he's like, "That's only if I get what I want out of it. Not if I lose everything." So he's like, "Well, all is not lost because there's a boat that the ship came in, but one of the boats was missing. Or somebody saw the boat, leaving port, and one of the boats was missing." And he's like, "Yeah, but they could have been destroyed in the battle." He says, "Yeah, but maybe not." he said, all right, let's look for the guy, because they figure that somebody came off the boat and is there with them. So, yeah. And I really like the look of the guy. I thought he did a really good job. So, anyway, now he's, traveling to Venice, and now he's got these guys after him that's being put up by whatever this. The guy doesn't look very rich, but anyway, so they go to stop him, and he's like, he starts making a prayer. He starts praying, and he's like, the prayer's not going to help you. He's like, I'm not praying for me. That's really good stuff. And so he kills them all. But he takes a bullet to the leg. We don't really see much of that besides he gets a bandage on it later. And, wow, the design work on the girl is amazing. I mean, just amazing. So we're in this library, and she's he tells us, as far as being the reader, that she's very intelligent, and she's read a lot of stuff, etc. They decide to go home, and then we get this flashback back to Africa, but it's not the same guy to escape. It's now a priest that I guess is there to teach them about Christianity, but they end up finding this body, and the old man says, I'm out of here, man. And he's like, what? You've seen a dead body before? Yeah, but... And I guess this kind of mixes with the monster in the beginning, where they're like snake creatures. I don't know. But I thought that art is really, really good. But anyway, they get home from work, and he's like, so many people are after me, so I figured I'd wait inside. I know we don't know each other, but this guy gave me this to give to you. And that's the end. Really, really good stuff. I have no idea where the story's going at this point, but at least there is a story. And I like the characterization of what they do with Solomon Kane, because Solomon Kane is he's very stoic. He's a stoic guy. And he has a very strict belief system. And that it all is included in here, which I appreciate. So, yeah. I liked it a lot. In fact, I read it twice. I read it once digitally because it came out late. And then Wonder Woman, well, it'll never make a movie anyway because they can't even do a regular Wonder Woman, much less... Patty Jenkins, man, she screwed everything. We would have had a 3 if she didn't screw up number 2 as badly as she did. Ego, man. Ego. Screws up careers. Anyway, that's it for me. I appreciate it. Let me know if you guys are collecting either one of these. And remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. And if you can subscribe, please do. And yeah, if you want to share this out there so people can see what's out there on the racks right now, and if it's going to hit the screen in the future. Again, the Solomon Kane movie is worth watching. I'm sure it's on streaming somewhere. And also remember, too, that if you'd like to read anything that I've written, go to Amazon.com and put my name in there, and you'll see some of my stuff. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Thanks so much for watching.